I need to make a video. Just whoever's watching, the psychologist. I don't think I've spoken or seen my mother in person, but one time in the last 20 years, and I'm not kidding. It's only been her identical twin that has been talking for her and representing her. I have completely been cut off from my mother's communication. So then now that I'm barely her son and whoever is abusing my mother, this is why I now for sure have to leave it to Jesus and God. I really do. If they're not letting me talk to my mother, I can tell you this, my mother got thrown into a prison. It doesn't matter how much money, whatever psychologists were, they're making this or whatever they wanted. I couldn't express any more of a loss. All I would say is probably gratitude is to be hopeful to be able to speak to my mother a few more times before the age of 45. Kind of say a goodbye. There's no reason why, in my opinion, I can never express the horrors that had happened. I can't even express, this is like what Frankie went through for first 15 years of his life. But I wanted to make this video about Mickey and Miguel and Diana. Everyone knows the psychologists and all this other stuff that had happened. But wanted to talk about Mickey, what Frankie told me about Mickey getting a house. When I was a year before Frankie left to the Navy, I'm going to say not even a year, like 8 months before Frankie went to the Navy, Mickey had not known what Miguel had done at this point in his life. He might have. Because I talked about that I saw him put his head down a couple of times and he sort of didn't wave at me or say hello to me. And he always did. And it wasn't until like the last year that he lived there, I wouldn't say maybe last year, last like 10 months. And because I remember, and I recall that Frankie was just graduated, or because he was going to Mary Grimes, because he was skipping school. He missed a couple of days and stopped going to school. And what happened was, Frankie told me that, he said, oh, guess what? Because Frankie used to work with Mickey for a year at Michael's, which is MJ Designs. And Frankie worked there for a year, and Mickey worked there for a couple of years. And another thing, Daniel Box used to work with at Michael's. He worked with Mickey, and he hated Mickey, which is crazy because me and Daniel used to pick me up all the time. And Miguel and Diana found out that, hey, Mickey found out that, hey, why is Daniel coming over here? Because I don't think Mickey got along with Daniel. And I didn't know this until several years after he stopped working there. He never told me. He never told me anything about it. I didn't know anything. And then he was like, yeah, man, I know who Mickey is. He's a punk. And I was like, what? Yeah, and I just thought it was like a boss thing. I thought he was just being because he was a manager. Because I knew how Daniel was. Daniel was such a slacker and a lot of shit and kind of a sort of a petty thief at times. A shyster. And everybody would tell you that, free, kind of always looking to get a freeload at times. But I just thought it was just probably work environment kind of stuff. So I was about 18. Because if Frankie didn't work there with Daniel, I don't think he did. He might have. He might have worked there like the last month or two. I think he worked there afterwards. Yeah, I think it was afterwards. After Daniel had quit or got fired, he worked there for like a year. And what happened is that Frankie was sitting in the living room and he was on the floor and he goes, dude, and I remember him sort of kind of being alert, like excited for him, sort of, or kind of like, dude, or like someone gave away something, like something happened. He goes, dude, you know Mickey, he got a house? And I go, what, a house? What are you talking about? Yeah, he got married and his Valerie's grandmom and granddad, grandma and grandpa gave Valerie. They moved out of the house and they handed over the house and keys over to Valerie and Mickey because they had just gotten married. So Valerie and Mickey had just gotten married, and as them rewarded being married, they gave him a house. And in the house at that time, the house, it was a couple years before our house got sold. So our house was $125,000. Miguel's house was probably worth about $150 because they kept their house much more prettier and nicer. I would say maybe more $150. I'd say like $175. I'd say about $165,000 because their house is more maintained, way 10 times better. They maintain their property very well, clean, everything. Grass is always perfect, all kinds. They always live the perfect life. And Christian home. So what happened was I know if that house was valued at that, Mickey told me it was something like, or told Frankie, and Frankie said it was like $250,000. It was like a $250,000 house at that time. So it was a $250,000. Who knows what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was valued at that much. I know it was over $200,000, but I say that because I grew up in the smallest neighborhood in the entire neighborhood I grew up in. All the other houses were more expensive, and I know that Valerie is a blonde-haired white girl. She had to have gotten, if her grandma gave her a house, it was probably in a very nice white neighborhood, because they were already old. The house was purchased very old. During many years ago. So you could just do the math. It was more likely. I don't know the details, but my assumption is that it was. But I want to say, I think I do remember Frankie saying that he said that, the house is like a $250,000 house. Whatever that value was, they know, whoever knows. And Frankie told me this. And he was like, Mickey got a house? And I remember he was just kind of like, and didn't say anything. He kind of did sort of that look. But I think it's important for me to say this because I don't know if I've made a video on it, and that's the only thing I ever heard about this. I know that Daniel Box told me this once, and he told me this because he went over to Daniel Box's house one time. I don't know, because there were people always going to Daniel Box's house. I don't know who it was, how it happened, but he showed up with like a friend of a friend or something, and he said that he went up to Mickey, and he said he grabbed Daniel Box's throat like this. That kind of goes like this, and he did this to him, not squeezing, but just kind of went up and looking kind of serious, and he said something like, "Don't touch my girlfriend," or "Don't touch her," or something like that. You could ask Daniel what he exactly did, but it was something along the lines like that. And I said, "What?" Mickey didn't sound, and he said it was because Daniel told me he was hitting on or tried to get her number or something like that. He didn't speak about it very much at all, just shared a few words. That was it. He goes, "Yeah, I don't know." So he worked with him for a year. Did Daniel know? I don't think he did. In my opinion, he might have been fumbled a few words, but I don't think anybody told him. But I think it's important for me to say this because I don't know who the psychologists are. I don't know what these people have to say anything about anything. Because he said he approached him and he did this, and he said that don't talk to my girl, or something like that. And it was Valerie. So this is when I was about, probably 15 to 16 years old. Anywhere between the age of about 15 to late 16. Could have been 14. Anywhere from 14 to 16 years old this happened. But I think I want to say Mickey was already about 16 or 17 years old. So anyway, I don't have anything, to say other than, I'm sure that everyone, Frankie never complained about Mickey. He just worked with him, they were friends. They were childhood neighborhood friends. there was never any kind of complaint at all. I mean, he saw Mickey all the time. There was absolutely zero. Never a sad day, never a complaint. I know that when Frankie quit there, or before Frankie started working there, Mickey told me this. Said that he was at work one day and a guy fell on the ground at work, like a customer. Well, I don't think he was an employee, and started hemorrhaging very bad. And he said that the guy just fell on the ground and he started shivering and he started foaming from the mouth. And I want to say that Mickey said that he gave the guy CPR, or I know he said he was foaming from the mouth. And he said he started having seizuring really bad. And I don't know if he said that his heart stopped and he looked to see, but he said that he had to give the guy. He said the guy started turning blue, like dead, like in front of him, started dying. And I want to say he did say the guy turned blue, like he was dying. And Mickey said he had to give him CPR. And I don't know if he said he revived him, or he said that, yeah, no, they just shot my hamstring. It's because because Mickey did that. I'm going to talk about a different subject here in a minute. So anyway, that's kind of what happened. Guy seizured. He did CPR. Paramedics continued doing CPR, and I think the guy made it. I think he did. But he told me that he started to cry, like when he left, and he was really scared. He said dude, I got really scared. The guy, and he sounded like he really saved someone's life, like the way that you would have hear somebody save someone's life, like that's what he sounded like when he told me about it. So anyway, I wanted to share that, and that's what I had to say about that. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say is, they got a 3-bedroom house, $250,000 house, and that's a way to say, oh, look what happened to me. I get kicked out at the age of 20 years old. I worked for my dad for the first about 7 or 8 years that I've ever seen a penny. Everyone scavenges, takes away everything from my dad. I don't receive a penny. It's really Michael's Rossiter's and other people's party house. I'm living by myself. I get nothing. They get a 3-bedroom house, and what do I get? What do I get? It's too late. Frankie got raped by 10 homosexual men, if not more. I want to feel confident it's 12. And I know it had to have been more than that, I just wasn't alive. So what happens? You get a 3-bedroom house, yeah, good thing, son, you stay safe. You stay over there and get your money and do whatever thing. You know the community's going to help you. And it wasn't Mickey's fault. He had nothing to do with it, nor did Valerie. You see what the community did for them? What did the community do for me before my transplant or after my dad died? How about after I got my transplant? Oh, remember Michael Jackson? Now use Michael. Just wait until. This is why I have to forfeit everything we can give to Jesus. Everything to God. Like, I just don't want to fight anymore. It's not like I don't want to fight. It's like, it's almost kind of seems like a suicide mission for me to continue to think that for me to continue to think anything's going to happen. It's like shooting blanks, going and shooting at thin air. There's nothing there. Everything is being divided by someone else, not me. I've said everything I need to say. In fact, I've said most of this information, I think, more than once. So, I can't even imagine what Frankie probably felt like saying or internalizing. Because I went inside that living room a couple of times, and I had seen Frankie like cry, like his eyes were kind of red. You can imagine, because he was staying in the living room a couple of times, and I remember that, and his eyes were red, like he felt like crying. But he didn't say anything. He kind of goes back into the serious mode, kind of like. So I think it's important for me to say this because, yeah, Dream Home Makeover's house now, because my mom's house got a makeover's house, huh? What did I get? Gary Gwynn. Mike Standish, Michael Moody, Ken Cooper, Sarah Cooper, the white community. It's not really racist until it needs to be, until the gay community through the police department. So anyway, all this fight, as you can see, brings me nothing anymore. I'm not the one that's doing the dividing, and I'm not the one that's going to... I haven't even spoken to my mother in over 20 years but one time. It's in person. I don't have anything to represent her. My mother has no earthly idea of the horrors because her twins are doing it for her, and the community, and LGBT community, transgenders are doing this to my mother, his twin, to then horse fuck me and my brother all over again. The president's involved. I have to surrender. There's nothing that I can do. I did my best. This is so ridiculously a forfeit that my biological father, if he's still alive, I could never express the horse shit face of what they did to him and what they did to his little girl. Because Michaela, you have no idea, as much as I want to make this video, to please be careful. I can't even express how much to say that you're my sister, that you think I would want to fight, how much I would want to fight for you. But it is so bad that I can tell you on behalf of my mom's character and what they're doing with their identical twin and anyone else, it is entirely to hurt you, entirely to go against you. I am not. But it is best to me to say, I wish you well, because there's no way how smart, how willing, or anything that you're going to do in your life that's ever going to overcome any of this. It's best to stay safe and build your own family, because there's nothing but dark demons and evil shit that my mother's identical twin are getting her to do, and what had happened. It's so far painful, suffering, the separation of racist and how prejudiced, how they separate the gay community, LGBT community, and then, oh, this one's a little bit more whiter, oh, this one's white, okay, kill this one because this one met Michael Jackson. They're dissecting my mother's kids in ways that it's beyond anything I can express. No one did anything. The best thing that I can tell you, it's not that I'm telling you to run or not stop, I'm scared for your own safety, just to even say stay safe. You have no idea the perpetrating things and how deep penetrating they are, what my mother's twin is doing, and what these psychologists are doing. This was taking $175,000. This is for the white supremacy. This is for the gay community. They already know they killed me. They already infected me. They already raped Frankie with 10 homosexual men, kept him in his cage, and 2 others showed up, and then they're blaming the other thing. They already got everything already made. I'm 40 years old. Everything was lost. They're going to, I'm telling you right now, Ken and Sarah Cooper and Madison and Kenneth have their snipers shooting at your head and your face. They're aiming it right at your fucking face and between your legs and who you're going to breed with and who you're going to fuck and who's going to mangle you mentally. Because you don't know how bad it really is. And this is how I say, because you can't do nothing. You don't know how bad it really is. Please be safe. I just wish you a good life. I hope you get to watch these videos. You just don't understand that it's not my mother. My mother would have loved you, not my mother's twin. My mother would have cared for you, not my mother's twin. My mother would have loved to see you and me together, to be able to sit down and meal and be like, look, Mom, this is my sister. This is, the guy, Hector, you were in a relationship with. Her twin, I can't even express it. I'm talking to her, and she sounds fucking crazy. I'm not saying this, but she sounds like they're getting her to practice death on me. Like, I'm not kidding. The words that she's saying and choosing and what they're telling her to do, it's like, here, put this poison and give it to Hector. I don't give a fuck. She doesn't give a goddamn fuck. She does not have the mental capacity to represent any situation like that other than shoot me. And she's going to use the kids and all. It's really fucking bad. But as far as my mother goes, my mother, the person that she was, and the person who she had been before her twins showed up, would have loved to have met you. And would have been so happy. Every homosexual is out after my mother's face and ass, guttered out like a worn, torn, poor lady in a combat zone. War torn country. By far, you have no idea. So, I hope this video makes any sense. Don't have who has time to watch it, but you don't want to fight against Ken and Sarah, because every single person is going to represent them, did represent them. You have no idea that my biological father, our biological father, I don't know how well you know him, he's nothing but an ass fucking motherfucker. And that's what they did to him. To me personally, I would have loved to have met the man. I cannot express anything enough that individual, there's no way, just like in my position, there's no way he's going to be able, he ever did say anything. They know how to pick up that firearm, they know how to pick up those keys to the jailhouse and say, you ain't going to walk out of your house ever again, motherfucker. We have women that are 60 years old poisoning children. You have 17-year-olds going to prison for 30 or 40 years. The President of the United States is directly involved. Military, we see them racist in military actions. The military people, they're used to killing. They kill people. That's what they do. They're not just Marines. They're humans that like killing people. They get trained to do that. Many of them don't ever leave that mental state. But I can tell you this. You're going to find out how strong white power really was. You're going to find out. If you didn't know that you should have, if you didn't know before, like your mom's white, you're going to find out that the Mexican side is going to be the scrumming dog shit of a fucking toilet of a meal compared to anything of what these motherfuckers did. And these homosexuals. It's not a place you want to be. It's the reason my mom left to Mexico, because it wasn't worth a fuck. And it wasn't worth anything over there. That's why she came to the U.S. for a better life, because there was nothing over there that was good. Because it was only horrors of what was going on over there. There was no life. There was no dreams. There was no hope over there. That's Mexico, Mexican people. But if I had, like I told you, please be careful out there. I am the representation of my mother. If I haven't spoken to her in 20 years, but one time, when she's crying in front of me, how much hatred do you think that you're able to catch on camera when people are representing Ken Cooper and white supremacy? How many people do you think are black that are coming around me representing for the black niggas at the radio station for Keynote 97.9 The Beat? Oh, we'll just all come together. Where do you think Mexicans fit in this Hollywood? Where do you think Mexicans are anywhere in the White House or in Congress? We're not there at all. It's only black and white runs that place. So understand, because I still think that you could still have a beautiful life, and you probably did, but you're likely to have had a lot of bad things happen to you simply because you knew who we were and you were connected. There was nothing very much good that was going to come from you, because it was going to be cut off, and you just don't understand the war of every single celebrity on the face of this planet is mouthing off about my mom, mouthing off gay community, we fight for the LBG. I don't have anything against, keep in mind that to me, I think that a gay individual can have good judgment when it comes to morals. But for some reason, when you fuck with the wrong game, you're going to get fucked up. And this is the most powerful organization all the way. Everything in dance music, hip-hop, Everything in dance music, DJing, everything in music production and dance, the whole dance scene in the rave scene, the disco era, the house music, all this, all evolved through the gay community. All of it did. That's only where it came from. It didn't come from anyone else. Every top DJ in the world, gay. There's no straight men at all. You're lucky to find any women, and they choose who go. There's no union over there. Nobody says in Hollywood, nobody says in the dance producing DJ realm, nobody does. But you got to understand, that's not up just at the top and middle. This is the very low class. When you want a job, when you want money, they don't give these straight guys, because we just got to take care of kids. We just got to make kids, because they can buy anything they want. Money buys everything. And what happens? You can't get it here. How are you going to get DJ equipment? How are you going to get a free, easy life and comfortable? How are you going to deal with your managers? How are you going to deal with keeping your job? Stay right there and just breathe. That's why. So, I thought it was important for me to say this. I do hope the best for you. But like I said, I can't even express the ass kicking. Like, this is someone else's interpretation, you know, and if I didn't think my mother died before, she really did die. You know, I had seen my mother in 20 years, but one time, these are masterminds. Me nearly digging in a trash can for food, and forced to. I cannot do this anymore. I wouldn't say not do this anymore. It's not like, oh, not willing. It's more like, it's crazy. This is crazy. This is not crazy. This is, I don't even could find the right words. It's like a psychosis. I'm not going to go to a mental hospital in this episode of thinking that anything I have to say had any power and justice, because you don't understand. They're smarter than me. They're better than me. There is a war, huge hundreds of them. Nobody gives a fuck. These are the ripening earnings of my hard work. I got scummed, and I guarantee you, your father did as well. My father, you know, I'm honoring Hector by his name. My mother's not going to be able to talk, because when you put those identical twins, they got my mom like a dumb, worthless whore in a street corner. Yeah, you do it. I could never express. To me, I grew up so different. Like, you don't understand that just the fact that people think that you're your mother, you got to protect her. It's like such an innocent person that did nothing but good to try to live, and you have the President Barack Obama doing this to my mother and to her kids and me. They're always going to find excuses. They're always going to win. You're not going to win. You're not, no justice is served. You have to let go and have a balance if you do try to do anything, because there's no justice. You know, anything that now happens is to give to other people. Anything that happens is to then give it to your other offspring. You don't understand the magnitude. I don't even know if your mental capacity is able to understand that mentally. Even though, because being confident that you're smart doesn't mean you're smart. And just because you feel that you're smart doesn't mean you are. The same also applies to me. But that is my opinion on this. I worked for my dad for 7 years. You know, seeing awful things. There was no food in our fridge. I can never express how many homosexuals were punking, and I was destined to only go to prison and die there. Because if I would have held my nuts between my legs like, oh, you're just a pussy or you just got scared. No, that's what the intentions with the police department and the homosexuals are going to do to me. And that's all they were going to do to me. You can hold your balls and be all courageous and tough and think you're gangster, but you're going to be sitting in a fucking cage your fucking whole life and you'll die there like a worthless fucking animal. Like a fucking worthless fucking insect crawling on the ground thinking that something's going to save your fucking ass. match. You'd be going to a cage like nothing. You live the purpose of a fucking caged animal. The religion, the quality, and then you fucking die. And then you can get anything in life. It's better to give and surrender than it is to die in some cage to think that you're trying to hold your pride. Remember, the devil had pride, and it's what casted him out of heaven. The devil had the choice to say, no, I'm better, I want to be God, no, I'm in charge. And what happened? God said, get the out. That's what God said. And it's better to, at this point, especially being older, it's better to give. It's not worth it. It's, there's too much value. Let them. There's no fixing. It's only a recovery. Everyone's going to fight for the highest level of intelligence that benefits them. They're just not going to tell you that. It's always in the panning out. The panning out should have been between me and my mother and Frankie and Jillian. Instead of all these other people, they'd show up. Celebrities that are not interested in loving kindness and help. They're interested for their own agendas. And this is not coming at all from the transgenders and gays. Some other heterosexual people are doing that as well, but they're using their side of the gays to get away with what they want. There's very little heterosexual women that are really going to put their finger and thumb on it and say, no, you're not. You don't have any power. It's not going to... Time is running out, and it isn't going to change the fact that it's running out for me too. I love my mother, and I hope the best for my biological father, but you have no earthly idea like what people have done to me and are consistently doing to me in that mascot for justified to train me emotionally and mentally who did wrong and right, who's the hero, who's to let go, who's to, and everything. Everything is dissected to there's nothing. There is no White House statue between my mother, like foundation between me and my mother. I'm not there, and I'm not even her son, and I'm having to call a stranger lady's mom. I'm not communicating with my mother. Whatever they poisoned with her, she is pointing the gun at me and doesn't give a fuck. So whatever the psychologists are forcing her to do, they're doing directly toward me. And this is going to put you in a casket, get used to fuse out the emotions out of my mom's twin, to then exchange it from my mother, and it's a pure genius chess match. These are masterminds. It's best, and like you did tell me, and you had a black crucifix. You said yes. And that's the best that ever in this. Any guys that you got into your life with, you have no idea some of these monsters, what some of them were behind. And I'm not talking about because they were straight. You don't know the other homosexuals and transgenders that led them and pointed them out and said, yeah, go after that one. So, yeah, Jesus. Because I can't do this without Jesus. I want to heal from this. I want more God in my life, and I want to do what's best. You have no idea what this is. Not something I want to fight. It's not something I don't want to fight. I can't express this. This is running in circles, doing nothing. But I thought I'd at least vent out a little bit.